In this video, I'm going to be covering how I create long-form content. Now, I've covered this in a previous video where I explain how to find topics and how to start creating your outlines and how to go to Google and how to use the people also ask feature and then, basically going from there. But I want to actually create a piece of content where I'm showing you the actual intricacies or process of me creating a tangible piece of content. So this isn't going to be so much of the tutorial in terms of how to actually do it. This is going to be more so the application of me actually doing it. So the first thing that I want to cover is this outline. So I'm going to cover this outline that I use, and then I'm going to cover the writing structure that I use, and then we're actually going to go ahead and create this document on this video. So the first thing, this is going to be the outline. The outline, and when I say outline, by the way, this is also the order of operations in terms of how I create this. So the chronological order that I go through is number one, I create a loose thesis, claim, or statement. After I have the claim or the statement, I create the outline. The outline is based on the claim, because if I don't know what I'm writing about, then how do I know what the outline is going to be? Once I have the outline, I create the body paragraphs. As I'm writing the body paragraphs, it gives me a pretty firm idea of the intro, and then I can revise the thesis statement to be more clean, more specific, more structured after I have some of the content and I've done a little bit of word vomiting, right? Sorry for that imagery. And then I'll go and write the outro, and I'll again create another version of the thesis statement. Not that I'm going to go back and rewrite this one, but I want to create another version that's going to go in the outro. So if we are to go and actually look at what this is going to look like, we'll see if my pen wants to play nice today, and it does. So what you want to do when you're writing, and this was taught to me by an English, 11th grade English teacher, I think it was like AP. If you're thinking AP means I'm smart, I was probably one of the worst students in that class. But the teacher was really good, and I've used a lot of his tips and techniques to make quite a bit of money in copywriting. Shout out Mr. B. So when you're writing, you want to have this almost hourglass-like figure, right? So your intro should go from broad to more specific, right? So again, broad in terms of range, and then this is more specific. Then when you get to your body, now we're focused on a specific item, and we have a thesis statement. And in the thesis statement, you have claims. So now in the claim, we need to actually reinforce those claims with your body paragraphs. And you're going to have about 3 to 5 usually, right? 3, 2, 5. Then in your outro, it's going to be very similar to your intro, but it's going to be flipped. So now we're going specific to broad in the sense that it has more universal application. Oops. Draw. Let's get, no, let's do a red. There we go. So you can see that this intro looks just like the outro, but it's flipped. It's reversed, right? And so you're going to have your thesis statement probably closer to here. Again, this is like within the intro paragraph, and then in the outro, it's going to be right about here, right? Now, within each of these actual body paragraphs, you're going to be reinforcing the thesis statement. The thesis statement is your main claim. So if we were to go and look at what this would look like, going back to blue, your paragraphs would essentially have their own thesis statement, and then they'd be reinforced throughout that mini paragraph. And so you essentially, if I can actually, let me actually redraw this. What you're going to see is even within your own paragraphs is you have this sort of similar structure where, again, it's all hourglass shaped, where you're going, a little bit more general, very specific. This is probably going to be where you have a mini thesis statement, and then it gets more broad as you transition into the next paragraph. So essentially what you end up seeing is you end up seeing this sort of repeating structure. So here's what I mean by that. Let's see. Your body paragraphs would look like this. So again, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. And of course, all of these paragraphs, let's go and get our red pen. There we go. all of these are going to be in the body paragraph. So these are your 3 paragraphs, and they're all going to be right here. So again, you're seeing this very similar pattern where you have this hourglass figure as the main piece of content, and then these smaller hourglass figures. So I'm going to show you how we actually do that. So let's go back here. Now that we understand the body and how that's working, this is why I typically rather not start with the intro or the outro, because I can just come in right in here and I can talk about the meat of the content. I can talk about the actual substance of the content, and then I can go and I can connect this or relate this to somebody who may not have the same in-depth knowledge that I have, right? Not to say I'm so much smarter, but again, when you are working with this every single day, you're so much closer. You have to sometimes distance yourself. So I will word vomit being close and up to the subject of the topic, right? Or the topic of the subject. And then I will back up and I will kind of show, okay, this is the application. This is why, right? So again, this is why I have a loose thesis claim, an outline. I add meat to the bones, so to speak. Then I'll do my intro, then I'll do my outro. So now that we've covered that, let's do the loose thesis claim. So what I'm doing in this instance is I'm working with a client and I'm creating a long form piece of content with him. Now he writes really, really nice short form pieces of content that go very, very in depth. They get quite a bit of views, but when it comes to writing longer form content, he's a little bit newer to it. So that's where I'm actually creating this, and that's why I wanted to document this process so you guys could somewhat relatively follow along. So let's go ahead and get to it. So again, the loose thesis claim, this is just, what are you trying to say? Don't try to make it sound pretty. Just word vomit it. Just say it. Let it be ugly. Then we'll rearrange it. Then we'll refine it. Then we'll reorganize it. Whatever word you want to start with or use, that's when we're going to improve this, right? So in this case, you can see this loose thesis claim is, if you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations of your, and this is going to be an auto detailing business, then you need enough cash flow to justify paying for the people and the systems that will allow you to exit. This is a loose claim. So then what I do is I take this claim, I went over to ChatGPT and I said, using this thesis statement, please create an outline of what subtopics I should cover. If you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, there's my thesis statement, right? Then I said, for context, I want to explain that auto detailers need enough clients to justify the expense of building a true business system. I want to start with getting leads, because that's how you get enough money, then a quality training program, followed by scope of control, which is how many people you can manage effectively, and end with replacing management, because essentially the idea is that you are scaling out, right? You have to cover fulfillment, then systems, then replace yourself as the boss. That's the easiest way to scale out. And now I'm just applying it, right? So then I just click enter, and ChatGPT wrote all this for me. It gives me a nice outline. Thesis statement, if you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations of your business, you need enough cash flow to justify paying for the people and systems that will allow you to exit. This is a solid thesis statement. So it's indirect. I didn't even ask it to. It basically just wrote a nicer thesis statement for me. So now what I can do, and it's giving me a good outline, right? So I want to make sure the outline is nice. So let's see. And you can see even in ChatGPT, it's writing very similarly, right? Introduce the importance of building a self-sustained business, present the thesis statement, briefly outline. So this is kind of like supporting it. And then each of those outlines, right? Leads, quality training programs, scope of control, and replacing management becomes its own paragraph, right? And of course, these are going to have to use transitionary sentences at the end, because you want the flow to be very clean. You don't want to be like, you need new leads. And here we can go here, right? You need new leads. And then you need a training quality program. No. You want to say, hey, we want to get you enough leads so that way you have enough cash flow that can justify for paying for people. Now, when those people come in, we want to make sure they're trained to do the same quality you did. Therefore, you need a quality training program. Let's talk about the quality training program. And then quality training program next. As you're training people nicely, again, you don't want to be stuck in that day to day. So as you train more and more people, you eventually want to train or take somebody who's really good and train them on how to also be a trainer. So that's where you need to understand the scope of control. So when do you make that decision? That's what we're going to cover next in scope of control. Scope of control. You can only manage 3 to 5 people. Yada, yada, yada. Delegate, remove yourself from the operations. Once you have the scope of control in place and you're at the top, great. The last piece to replace is yourself as management. So let's talk about that, right? And so you can see I'm adding these very easy transitionary sentences that make sense. When you are writing, you want it to almost be like a conversation that you are intentionally structuring. If you just go out there and you just yap and there's no flow or structure to it, then it's hard to follow along. On the other hand, if you create too highly structured a document and you forget the need to actually speak like a human being to human beings, then you're going to lose the connection piece. So you need to mix logic with emotion and sort of tell the story of how you came to this conclusion. Now, when I say tell the story, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you that you need to insert random characters in a story and once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. No. What I'm saying is explain the thought process of how they connect, which is what I just did with those transitionary sentences, right? So now what I could do, and I'm doing this live as you're about to see, is I'm going to say, using the outline you gave me, create a document applying this to auto detailers. And what it gives me might be the ugliest thing I've ever seen since the mirror, but it could actually be something of substance. There we go. So I had to change the prompt a little bit. Let's see. Okay, cool. So it's giving me a little essay right here. And let's see. Let's go ahead and copy this. Come back to our paper. Enter, enter. Command Shift V. There we go. So now I have an actual document. I'm not a big fan of the title. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read through it. So this one kind of skipped. I didn't have to do these because ChatGPT helped me, but I want to focus when I go to rewrite this on this, then the intro, then the outro, right? So let's see. I'm going to just read this out loud, and I'm going to kind of reword it as I want to go, right? Oh, you know what? One thing I need to do is I need to come back, and I'm going to say, rewrite this in an 8th grade reading level. 8th grade seems to be the sweet spot from what I found. You could say 7th, 9th, give or take a grade level. All right, cool. Let's copy this. Let's go back here. Let's remove and let's add. There we go. Great. So we're lacking a little bit of emotion here. Can we leave the first step down? This is a little dry with the generating leads. Also, I want to remove all these weird asterisks, so I'm going to do Control Find, asterisk, replace with, replace all. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to redo this headline. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to this. Let's scroll down to some headlines and let's see what I like, right? So a few ones that we could do for the headline. Is we could say something like never work in your auto detailing business again 4 steps to automate and exit. Something like that. That could be option 1. Let's go back. Again, I'm just word vomiting. That's all I want to do here. How to exit your auto detailing business. Well, let's see, without... Might even just keep it simple. How to hire quality workers so you can leave your auto detailing business. So I'm just coming up with as many ideas as I can to see what I prefer, right? We can do one that's more agitating. Can your auto how to let your business drive itself. Kind of use some car puns, right? I'm going to come in here and make these like that so my client can see and see what he thinks. So ChatGPT can help you out a lot, but it should just be a starting point. So let's go back. I'm not a big fan of sentence. Not a big fan of paragraph number 1. Let's see. So I'm going to say write a small essay on why auto detailers should focus on GMB, local SEO, local PPC, and social media retargeting campaigns to get new clients while running promotions to attract and engage old/current clients. So that's essentially the process that I use to help my local clients get clients. So I want to change the lead paragraph to focus more on what I want, or to focus more on like the process that I use. And you can see it has these conclusion, but we're going to do our own transitionary sentences. I'm just reading sure to make sure it looks good. Good. So again, this is what I'm talking about. You have an intro right here. This is very similar to this, right? These smaller paragraphs have this intro, a thesis, and an outro, right? Intro, outro. In the outro, we need to transition into the next section, the next paragraph, right? So I'm going to copy this. And look, this is even a really nice H1 title. So we can copy this. I don't know why I keep dragging. I'm going to go from getting leads, scroll down, because I'm not a big fan of this section. So I'm going to replace that. It's got those asterisks again, so Control F. I already have it in there. Click. Replace with, don't put anything in there at all. Replace all. Gone. So let's go back up. This now becomes my H2. See? And again, I'm going to come back and redo this intro, but this becomes my H2. And I can even say, I can even get rid of this. Focus on GPP, local SEO, local PPC, and social media retargeting campaigns. I could even reduce this even more to step 1. Attract more clients to generate cash needed to build team. Right? Makes pretty simple sense. Bam, bam, bam. And these are pretty, new and user friendly. So now I want to go to this transition, and I'll come back to this, but what I'm going to do to make sure I don't forget, I'm just going to copy this, and let's do a comment. Don't forget to transition. All right, next, quality training program. So let's go and look at what the quality training program says. So let's scroll back up. Okay, here we go. And you can see this is very slim. You could go with something more slim, but I want to do a nice long form content that really goes in depth, right? So let's see. To ensure your auto detailing service is always top notch, you need to train your team well. He's got to do a creative training that outlines procedures and expectations, hands-on training sessions, regular performance reviews. Okay, cool. So I want to take this and I want to go a little bit more in depth. Now, I have personal experience training people because I was in the military for about 8 years, and I also trained quite a few teams that really performed well for local blue-collar service-based businesses, however you want to look at it. So I'm going to say, please expand on this, because I like what they're saying so far. So I want to see what happens if I expand on it, if it's going to be the same quality. All right, comprehensive training manual, document step-by-step procedures for every service you offer. Yep, this is really nice. Set expectations, love it. Safety protocols, perfect. Hands-on training, practical learning, mentorship, simulated scenarios, love this. Safety protocols, equipment usage, customer service, very nice. Very nice. One thing that I will add here is I want to evolve this a little bit because I focus too much on the quality training program. This needs to be more focused on actually attracting high quality people, workers. So we're going to say step 2, attract high quality employees by offering above average pay plus benefits. So a lot of these guys are going to be really hesitant to doing this. That's why their business sucks. Like, that's just the end goal. That's just the long and short of it. They don't want to pay well. They think, well, I'm going to keep more of my money. If you make a bunch of money and your workers are doing all the work for you, treat them like kings and queens, and they will continue to work with minimal guidance. You pay them a little bit of money, and you're going to have to you're going to have to puppeteer them. Don't do that. Hire good quality people. Trust them to do their job, assuming that you trained your people the right way. The only way that's going to happen is if you pay above average rates, right? So step 2, attract high quality employees by offering above average pay and benefits. So now we're going to come over here, and I really like what they said here. So I'm going to say, rewrite this in essay format, written in an 8th grade reading level. There we go. And so this is, I already have the H1. That'll be your H1. And these smaller subcategories with the titles where it says hands-on training, online training resources, regular performance reviews, those will act as H2s. And you want to format them properly when you're writing, because it will allow you to navigate easier, and it will allow the reader to navigate easier, because this is going to act as your lead magnet, right? Get rid of all those. All right. I don't need this. So now I can come here and I'm going to hold command. I'm just going to double click all of these, and I'll show you why in just a second, because I'm going to turn them into H2s. Great. H2. I like to bold it, and then I'll leave my H2 probably around like a 14. I don't like my H1s and H2s being too big, right? So this covers the actual training stuff, right? We also need to make sure that we're paying above average rates. So let's say, talk about the importance of paying above average rates to attract high quality employees. And so this might even be its own section. This might even actually go above. And I forgot to say rewrite in an 8th grade reading level. And I'm not saying 8th grade reading level because I think that auto detailers are so mentally limited. There may be some that are. I mean, I was in the military, so you could argue that I was. But it's more so because I want people to understand this. And as we're getting more technical, granular, however you want to look at it, right? I just don't want to exclude anybody who may be a high-quality employee just because their reading level may be limited, right? If you could be phenomenal at detailing vehicles and you could be making a stupid amount of money, and maybe this doesn't resonate with you because the language doesn't make sense, right? I'm not doing that. We'll switch to 3.0. I don't care. Didn't need you to rewrite it, but that's all right. And I'll show you how we do those transitions in just a second. So I like this in place of here. I still like this title though. So I'm going to keep this title. I'm going to do this. Oops. Let's the formatting is being annoying, so I'm just going to do this little, whoops. There we go. And then come up here because we don't need the E there, right? Let's get rid of this. Okay, so here come the H2s. I'm just holding command, clicking the titles. That might be common sense to you guys, but I just want to make sure you guys understand how to do it if you don't, right? H2. Oh, I messed up. So bold, 14. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say update H2s to match. So now all H2s will look like that. Okay, so. Oops, and actually these need to be, or sorry, this needs to be an H1. Bold, 16, and update to match. There we go. I'm not going to do I don't want to do this. So this, instead of a conclusion, what I want to do is I want to have it be my transition. So let's go back up here where this is in the conclusion, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this conclusion be more transitionary. So by generating more money, I can then pay to get the quality workers and systems that I need to essentially remove myself from the business, right? So in conclusion, focusing on GBP, local SEO, local PPC, and social media retargeting campaigns is essential for auto detailers looking to grow their client base. without wasting any money. These models provide the highest ROI, allowing you a very lean budget. These strategies ensure your business is visible. We don't need to worry about that. Rank promotion. Actually, I like the rank promotion ones. So let's take this and let's move it just before. Okay, by leveraging these tools, auto detailers can build an online presence, attract new clients, and maintain value. So by leveraging these tools, auto detailers, and this is where we're going to start transitioning, can generate enough monthly cash flow to attract the type of employees that will allow them to do less and less work without losing any quality. This is crucial, and sometimes you'll use, writing may tell you, quality writing may tell you don't say this is, but I'd rather write in a more of a conversational sense than in more of in too polished of a sense, right? This is crucial to removing yourself from the business. So then we're saying, okay, cool. I understood that I need to generate money, and that creates the next problem. It's like, well, I have the money, now how do I actually get the employees? Cool. Step 2, attract high quality employees, right? So let's go down again. And I'll come back and rewrite that, but we have a conclusion, right? So conclusion, offering higher rates is a smart strategy for attracting and keeping high quality employees in the auto detailing industry. It helps attract top talent, reduce turnovers, boost morale and productivity, builds a strong reputation, and encourages professional growth. By valuing your employees through competitive pay, you create a more successful and sustainable business. Ensuring proper training. No, we don't need that. Okay. I don't know why Google's being an op today. Goodness gracious. All right, let's keep writing. Where were we? Offering higher quality rates. So again, we're looking at attracting high quality employees. We could say attracting and retaining. Now we want to say attracting. And then we want to say, this isn't too bad. What I want to do, so when I'm stuck, because these aren't bad at all. It's just a little much. So go right up before scope of control. Copy that. We're going to go right back to ChatGPT. We're going to say, rewrite this to, let's say, be more, I don't want to say concise. We can just say rewrite this to flow better. Let's see if it gives us anything of quality. We may just stick with what we have. Let's see. You see me twisting my beard? That's where the genius flows from. An unkept beard. I'm reading through here to see if it makes sense to keep this many subcategories. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's way too much. Okay, I'm reading just the titles, right? That's necessary. That's necessary. That's necessary. That's necessary. I don't think this one is. No, it's not. Let's see what the next one says. Higher pay rates. No, so this kind of merges into what I was saying before. So let's cut that out. And then continuous improvement and evaluation. That would kind of, it seems like that kind of blends in with this. Regular performance reviews are another key part. Let's see. Finally, continuous improvement. This is more so about the training program, so I may merge this. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, because this seems more in or aligned with the training process. Oh, I see it saying, no, that's too good. It's really just too good. So let's go ahead. Let's just move on to the next one. We'll come back. Now, scope of control is one that a lot of people mess up. So scope of control essentially says that you cannot manage an excessive amount of people, right? In the military, they tell you that you should be managing between 3 to 5 people. So let's look at scope of control and how this would apply to auto detailers. So scope of control, first thing we need to do, step 2, attract high quality training. You know what we could do is let's copy this. Let's go down here. Let's say, so now what I want to do is I want to kind of rephrase this. Whoops. Step 3. Build and improve a top-notch training program to ensure quality at every turn, right? We'll use some of those. Let's go next. Okay, so at least we broke that up a little bit. Scope of control. This is going to end up being an H1, but it's not going to say H1, so it's going to say step 4. Improve, structure your staff so they don't need you to manage them. So this is going to be where structure your staff so they don't need you to manage them. We can say so they don't need you to do. We can say structure your staff so you don't have to do the work. So you're still gonna have to manage them, and that's what we're gonna cover in the final piece, right? Let's see. And then replacing management would be the final piece. Step 5. Replace yourself with managers to fully exit the business. Yeah, this is pretty solid so far. So I want to go back and I'm going to do different variations of transition sentences. The title looks pretty good, but let's go ahead and read through and make sure this is perfect. And I know this is a longer video. I'm going to try to edit it in post and just make sure that, you know, it makes sense for you guys watching. But I want you guys to kind of see like the process that I go through when I'm writing. Structure your staff. So delegating responsibility is key to freeing yourself from daily tasks. Identify key roles in the business like lead detailer, quality control manager, and customer service representative. Assign tasks to capable employees. Set up systems to monitor performance and hold regular check-ins to discuss progress and ideas. Empower employees to make decisions within the scope of their work, improving efficiency and responsiveness. Provide the tools, training, and support for them to succeed. So this is a little shallow. It's not really that in depth. I'm assuming 5 is going to be the same. You can see there's 3. So let's say step 4. So now I'm going to come back to chat. I'm going to say, expand on this in essay format. Please explain that a new detailer should keep in mind the scope of control when building the, let's say, hierarchy. Of course I misspelled that. Of staff and staff structure. We'll say staff reporting structure. And I already see like words that make me regret life. Just kidding. But I'm gonna say rewrite in an It's not bad. Please add a section talking about the need for shift managers and that no person should have more than 5 people under them. Okay, definitely better. Let's go back, and then I'm going to Command Shift paste. Let's keep that title. F. Let's replace. Replace all. Sorry. Exit. Okay. Get rid of that because I like my title better. Let's just keep those two. H2s. And then these say numbered, but they're not actually because it's the ChatGPT numbering. Yeah, so let's go ahead and fix that. Again, this needs to be a transitionary paragraph. Make sure my spacing is consistent. I could, because these have colons, I could kind of bold them like this. Oops. There we go. All right, putting together the right team is really important for your auto detailing business. By giving out jobs, setting up clear roles, and empowering your team, you can make sure everything runs smoothly. And remembering to keep track of how things are going helps everyone do their best. Building a strong team takes time, but it's worth it in the end goal because it lets you focus on growing your business and reaching your goals without getting stuck in the day. We'll say daily operations. Transitionary sentence is going to be, once this is in place, you can now start looking for upper management to replace your yourself, because you're not really replacing your job. I mean, you are replacing your job, but you don't want to phrase it in a way that makes it look like you're losing your job, right? It's a good thing, not a bad thing. So once this is in place, you can now start looking to hire upper management to replace yourself. So that leads into replace yourself with upper management to fully exit the business. Butt cheeks are getting sore sitting in the seat. Might need to get a new chair. All right, so step 5, replace yourself with upper management. This is the conclusion. I'm going to show you how I changed this a little bit, this title. I like to do like next steps instead of a conclusion. We'll just say like next steps. All right, step 5. Replace yourself with. All right, finding new leaders within your business is important for long-term success. Look for employees. So this is kind of like an obvious statement. I want to rephrase it and explain, like, document your process, right? So let's take this. I'm going to say rewrite this to include excuse me. Rewrite this to include the need to document your process as a manager to allow for a smoother transition when you hire a new person. Also explain the need to hire multiple managers to ensure full coverage. Think like, let's say, head manager, 2 to 3 assistant managers, and shift leads. And then here, also rewrite to use an 8th grade reading level. And then paste, and let's see what it gives us. Perfect. All right, let's see. As you plan to step away from day to day, find new leaders to take over is crucial. This step is all about passing off the torch. Look for employees in the team. Yeah, these can be internal hires. Yep. Transition leadership roles, heading over leadership roles. Start by giving new managers small responsibilities, gradually increase their workload, prove themselves as they go. Yeah, I still want to see SOPs though. Okay, perfect. Definitely a little bit better. And if you're wondering, like, well, hang on, this doesn't sound like the writing or reading the writing itself may seem a little more polished than ideal, you are correct. I'm going to show you how we kind of remove that in a second. But we do that at the very end. And then this will lead into our conclusion paragraph. So let's go back up. I want the spacing to be uniform, so I don't want this weird double space. Alright, let's look at this. Handing over the reins to upper management is a crucial step in fully exiting your business by identifying and grooming. I don't like grooming. Because that sounds like, I'm not even going to say it. By identifying and preparing new leaders, establishing clear procedures, and developing a succession plan, you can ensure that your business continues to succeed long after you've moved on. This process may take time and effort, but it's essential for creating a sustainable and successful business that can thrive even without your direct involvement. Then we'll go into the conclusion. So the conclusion is going to be more of like a next steps, because it's not just like a, hope this benefited you kind of thing. We want these people to, work with us in some way, shape, or form, right? So you can say next steps. That's usually how I like to end it. And you can be more clear. So next steps to start exiting your auto detailing business. So you can see where it says having enough cash flow is essential to justify the investment in people and systems that will allow you to step back from day-to-day operations. By generating leads and implementing a quality program, managing the scope of control, and replacing management, auto detailers can build a self-sustaining business. Taking these steps not only ensures the long-term success of the business, but also allows owners to enjoy the rewards of their hard work. So how do we make this happen? 1. Identify how far along this process your business already is. If you are a complete beginner, then you need to start at the beginning with generating enough leads and clients to bring in cash. If you are further along the road, right, using those car analogies, then you may be able to start with improving your, or we'll go back up with just do the others, right? With attracting better workers, improving your training program, structuring your staff better, or simply training your replacement, right? Step 2. Take action. Stop. We want to be direct with these people. Stop sitting around thinking it's going to change overnight if you don't do anything to make it happen. Overnight is one word. Yeah. You can do all of this on your own, or you can simply reach out to me here, and then that's where he'll link his funnel, right? So we'll say comment, link your funnel, command plus K, we'll do it for you. Great. Step 3. If you're still stuck or none of this made any sense, then drop a comment below and I'll answer them all. Right? So now we have basically an 11-page document, right? There's the title. Now we're going to go back and redo the intro, right? Building a business that runs smoothly without you can be a dream come true for auto detailers. To make this happen, you need enough money to hire the right people and set up good systems. This guide explains how to get more customers, train your team. Oh, and we also want to say down here in the call to action, or something, reach out to me here. My company helps with all of this, from building your systems to getting you enough clients to make this leap, right? Because that's what he focuses on. He focuses on systems and marketing. So now we'll go back up to the beginning. This needs to be H1. There we go. All right. We want to put in here, by the way, if you want a copy of this for 100% free, just subscribe to my YouTube and DM me on Instagram here. Or I'll say DM me on Instagram and then we'll say, like, put your handle here and in description. Command K. Oh no, I'm not putting his link. I need to put a comment. What am I doing? All right, comment, add IG handle. And then he can pick out his own title. And now we can come in here and we can remove this stuff, right? Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. So there you go. And we'll change this to title case. So this is a really good starting point. Now, what does he need to do next? He also has his stuff down here. And so he has a very funny sense of, he's like a great sense of humor, and he likes to inject that all the time. So with his humor, I still want that injected in here heavily, and I still want his voice. This is ChatGPT's voice. It's not even my voice, right? It's ChatGPT's voice. So what we need to do is let's give him instructions. And so the instructions would be 1, read this aloud and rewrite in your voice. 2, add illustrations and graphics. Add stats supporting the claims. Let me know when done and I'll proof. There you go. So again, this client of mine is in the equity program. So this is the level of work that I do with them to make sure that they succeed. I'm helping him write this document. What he's going to do with this document is he's going to go into groups and he's going to say, he's going to look for people who are struggling with this topic, right? Of exiting, finding quality workers. He's going to give a little preview or promo. He's going to say, oh yeah, hey, this is how you do it. You know, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, just as titles, as H1s. And then he's going to say, by the way, I have a video I can send to you. So then when he sends them the video has the promotion here. And at the very end, I mean, look at this. This is an 11-page document, or I guess 10-page document. Here's his call to action. It's so short, it's so subliminal, it's so subtle, because if they truly want to work with you, they will find a way to work with you. You just need to let them know that I do work with you. If you start droning on about your offer, disconnected, they're going to lose it, right? And again, we take more of a soft sales approach, so that's why I'm not very aggressive with it. And this can lead to his VSL. So once he has a VSL, we can put in the document, oh, by the way, if you want to work with me, go to this funnel, which we have, and then in the funnel will be his video sales letter. So there you go. That's essentially the process. You can see how I kind of fumble through it. It took me about an hour. I'm going to edit this video and, you know, we'll see how short it gets, if it gets short at all. But that's essentially the process that I go through. Hope it helps. If you have any questions, let me know.